So, as I mentioned in the last video, one of the big criteria for why I bought this lathe, even though I didn't have a super use for the lathe, I wanted one but didn't have a super use or need or projects directly related, was it came with lots of accessories. And a lot of times when you get older lathes, the accessories are what costs a lot of the money. So, this video is going to just be a quick overview of, well, somewhat detailed, but a quick overview of the accessories and such. So on the lathe itself, it currently has the 3-jaw chuck, and it has the tool post, the lantern style tool post, which I know that there's an Amazon link that you can go to that comes with a quick change tool post modernization effort that can go with this. That didn't come with it. I may get that at some point. I'm going to see. I have some stuff as we see here, but depending on what I run into, I may or may not get that to start. So it comes with the tailstock, comes with the cross slide and the angle adjustment piece, and then it has a total of 3 face plates that look like this. I'm not sure if there's models for those, but looks like just 3 of those. There's one faceplate that's like this with the slots and holes. It has a chuck key that is twisted, so that was one thing I knew, that just maybe one of the first projects is make a new one of those. It has, I believe these are end mill bushings. It's at least in the box that says end mill bushings. So there's 4 of those in a box. I believe that is for the milling piece. It comes with a 4-jaw chuck and 3 extra jaws. I'm not sure if that's for the 3-jaw or which it might be. I'm not sure what the difference is between these and the one that's on it, but in any case, there's 3 jaws that are loose. It comes with one of these. This is the steady rest. I think it's considered a steady rest. It does not have the rolling ball bearing kind, it just has the brass, but for most things that would probably work depending on what you're trying to do, unless you're doing something softer than brass, and then this may still mar the surface. It has the milling attachment, as I mentioned, and that's kind of cool. It has one of these, which I believe that is for when you're doing, I think that's when you're doing between 2 centers, and this helps lock your part into the faceplate. That way it still spins, whereas if you just run it between 2 centers, like most of the people who know lathe already know that, but from watching things on like Keith Rucker's channel, for example, I've seen him put one of these in to lock it in, and Steve Summers sometimes I think also did that, where you lock the part in between centers, that way it still spins. And I think Blondie Hacks, I've watched it on there, she also does that. It came with 2 really cool little wrenches. Let's see, this one is alloy steel. I know you can't see it. It's a Germany alloy steel, says on it. This one actually says Craftsman on it, so that's kind of cool. That is definitely the smallest wrench of that style that I've seen, so that's kind of neat. It comes with another tool holder that is, I guess, again, lantern style, but it's movable, so maybe that's for doing inside. Like you have this one come out, and then that's for grinding inside corners. In a tube kind of thing, possibly. There's the wrench that does a lot of the posts and such. That's the wrench that comes with it. There's another wrench. There were some awls. Oops. This little box that says number 9.88 60-degree lathe center. Number 2 MT shank ground tool steel. It's just the box. I'm guessing that maybe some of these, it's either for this or for the, there's 3 well, I'm not sure if this also counts as a dead center, if that's more of a punch. But here's 3 dead centers and 1 live center. Live center meaning that it spins on bearings. Dead centers mean it's just solid. This is another tool post to put grinding or the lathe tools like this inside. There's 3 of these style tool posts. Well, technically 4. There's another one. Here's an inside piece for cutting inside. And there's one in it. Well, no, there was. I actually took that. He took that out. He had one of these in there. I think it was this one. He had this in there when he was doing the testing to show me that it was working. That's what it was. Let's see. Then there's 3 different size chucks to put in the tailstock. This one is a 0 to 1/2 capacity 33 taper. This one, let's see. It says Jacobs chuck, so it's a Jacobs chuck. Number 2A, capacity 0 to 3/8. And then similarly, Jacobs 1/64 to 3/8. So that's cool. Bunch of little screwdrivers and stuff that were in the tool bin. Some actual tapered drill bits. I'm not sure which sizes, but there's a range of tapered drill bits. Let's see. 2 blocks of wood and a little metal tray out of something else that a lot of this stuff was sitting inside. A 45-degree cutter, I think. Not sure. It's probably just, well, I'm guessing you'd use both ends depending on which way it was and how it was cut. And these are little pieces. If I'm understanding this correctly, these 4 are pieces to adjust the height in lantern assembly to get your tools held correctly. 2 little knobs. I'm not sure what they came with or if they're for anything, but they were in the toolbox. Another Allen key. There was an Allen key that came with these end mill bushings as well. A set of gears. 2 small ones and then a bunch of the bigger ones. So that's kind of cool. And he told me what this was. I think that's to go through. This is related to the milling attachment. This extends through the chuck, and then that, so it would extend through from the back, and instead of the brass piece, that's where this would go, and that would hold your bit, I believe. And then that's how you would do the milling. So the milling attachment would go here, and then you'd put the cutter in this, and then you would hold the workpiece in these little jaws. So it would go more or less this way. You would hold the workpiece here, and that part there would stick out through instead of the brass. And by using the cross slide and whatnot, you could adjust and do the milling. I think that's what that is. So I do think I know what that is. Those are all the pieces that I got. So when I saw it, it was not just the lathe, but that it had all these things. And I looked online as well and said, it said it came with the milling attachment. If you had to go buy a 4-jaw chuck and this and this and these pieces and all that stuff, that ends up being a lot. So this was why I got it, because it came with toys. I still am not ready to get this all set up and use it, but I figured rather than wait till later, I will put this up there now. If for no other reason that there have been some good comments so far on the lathe. So maybe other people will have other suggestions, other videos that they suggest, hey, you can see how to use, the milling attachment here, or how to use this there, or looks like you're missing this piece, or oh wow, you have one of those, that's cool to use for this or that. Any suggestions are useful. Let me know. Because like I said, I'm new other than watching other people do lathe work, I am completely new. never done it. So very cool. Those are the parts.